Hey guys, welcome back, it's Meg. Today we are going to have our second Tea Time episode. Last week we talked about the meta mindset and being in this kind of zone where you feel like you need to have all meta classes. We talked about why that is only true for a very, very small percentage of players and why you're most likely going to be fine if you bring just people that know how to play their class. We didn't really go over any methods of what to do if you are that off-meta player struggling to get into groups, so I wanted to make this video today to kind of talk about things that have helped me and things that maybe you might find useful. So just because the meta only affects a very small percentage of players, it doesn't mean that the general population of players understands that or even cares, to be completely honest. Something that I think a lot of healers can relate to. When I was still pugging my Mistweaver through Season 1 and through a majority of Season 2 even, a lot of the times you would sign up for a key that needed a healer. They would decline you, relist, and then put Venthyr H-Pal or Kyrian Resto Shaman in the title to prevent like priests or monks or druids from signing up. That's something I think that happens a lot, and it's really, really discouraging. And it's absolutely frustrating, trust me. I cannot tell you how many times I logged out of my monk after getting declined for like the 12th time that day, said fuck this, and logged onto my pally and just tried to pug into the same groups that would actually end up taking me. So the frustration is something that is going to be there. That's just what happens with the game when you play something that's not considered meta. It kind of is what it is. But it is something that you can work through, and if you stay persistent, you're eventually going to get into the groups where they're like, okay, you know, we'll give this guy a shot. I can't tell you how many times I finally got into a group and then they whisper me, they're like, you're the first Mistweaver I've seen, or it's like, I didn't know that people still played these, or I have no idea what Mistweaver does. Even with people that I regularly played with, I would then get comments like, they ask if we have cooldowns, I'm like, yeah, I got Crane, and they're like, I don't know what that means. So a lot of it is just they're not educated, they don't know what your class does. So when you finally get into those groups where they are giving you a shot, even if you're off meta, absolutely, if they don't know what your class can do, please take the time to kind of like explain to them like your major cooldowns, like what you call for when you're in trouble, things like that. So after you get past that first wall of even getting into the group in the first place, after the run, if it goes well, don't be afraid to ask like, hey, you know, can I add you for keys later on in the week, or can I hit you up later for more, things like that. That's where the networking comes in, and that is what helps off-meta players get the farthest. That is probably the best bit of advice in this segment. A lot of the times when people are forming their groups, they look at their friends list first, and if no one's on, then they go to LFG. So you're kind of missing out if you're not working on your networking. You're kind of missing out on that initial step of forming the group where they go with people that they know. So definitely feel free to reach out and try to form a collection of players that you know are good and that you know you work well with and that do invite your off-meta class, and you can kind of work from there and find a group and even build your own group based on the people that will play with you, and then you just kind of collectively go from there, because if they're doing the same thing, you've got kind of this web of people now that you know that you can play with. Something else that you can try, and this is more of a beginning of the season thing, is push on something that is better than what you want to main. I know that sounds funny, but in Season 1 I mained a Disc Priest, I played it in Raid, and I played it in Keys up to like 2400, hard swapped to Mistweaver after that, and then used my Priest's IO on my Monk to get into groups from there. So unfortunately, none of these are overnight fixes. They all take a good amount of time, especially if you're doing the method where you get IO on one character and then swap to another and kind of piggyback. It took me 2 whole seasons of Shadowlands before I found the people that I'm currently pushing with. So it definitely does take time. You're gonna get frustrated, it's gonna be annoying, and you're gonna be convinced that you have to go play a meta healer to get into groups, but I promise you, if you stay consistent, if you just do your best at the class that you want to play, eventually things will come together. You'll find that group of people that just enjoy playing together and couldn't care less about the class. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I will see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.